YouTube is good to go. Boom. Back in the building for another round. Welcome back, ladies. It's another live 3x3 just after 3 p.m. Eastern time, and we're going to be dropping. This one's going to be a little bit different. And this one I'm just going to dive in and give you. So, the title of the video: Why Men Avoid Good Women. I had a comment, shout out, drop your comments down below in the DMs. If you got a question, I've got answers. I had a comment come in specifically asking towards the YouTube channel. I made a video about why women avoid good men, and it's got some steam. A lot of people catching views and value over there. Go check it out if you haven't already. And it just inspired me this week to really touch base, because I understand inside of the dating game, it feels like sometimes the cards are just stacked against you. Like, you can't figure out why all the good women, as it can occur in your life, are not experiencing the happiness, the joy, the happily ever after of good men in their life. So I figured I'd give both parties. I'm going to jump in, ladies first, as I always do, and I'm going to jump over and give the guys a dose of their medicine right after this. But with that, let's jump right in. This is why men avoid good women. So let me first start off. Who is this speaking to? What would you be experiencing? What does it look like? Well, we all know a few things, right? You hear about women all the time, at least in my line of work. Come across women all the time with money, houses, cars. They got the kids maybe, or at least they got the dog, but they can't seem to get a man. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like your circumstances? Talking to you over there on YouTube. Now, you see out in the social media environment, IG models, strippers, sex workers, OnlyFans, they get all the attention. In theory, we'll dive into that. But what about the boss chicks? What about the baddies? What about the strong, independent women that are getting flued out, getting success, opportunities, brand deals, sponsorships, monetization, content creation? It seems like you just can't help but watch everybody else out there win. Or worst case scenario, you might be going through this dating game. You might be entertaining, dating some guys. Maybe you got some direction. Maybe you got somebody in your corner, a coach, helping you. But maybe you can get a man, but can't keep a man. It just seems like there's something that's not clicking, and good men are avoiding good women. Is it the piss in the dating pool? What is it? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive in on in this message. So with that, let me take a step back. I am Dwayne Langham, the architect. I'm teaching you the ways of masculine men and how to get what you want in the dating game, in your relationships, using your divine feminine energy, ladies. You just tuned in for another live, and this week's topic, we're diving right in, and we're going to unpack why men avoid good women. So a couple of things, just keeping shop, things I need you to do for me. Go ahead, make sure you hit the like, thumbs up, share this to someone you feel in your heart could use this message. They just aren't getting it, aren't seeing the whole picture, and this is going to have something that's going to make their day and make a difference for them in their dating life. So please get that out there. If you haven't already subscribed, follow. Again, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok every week. Make sure you don't miss the latest videos. I want you to grab a free copy of my book. It's an ebook, Deep Dive into the Divine. It's going to give you all the basics you need to understand and follow along with the conversation, talking about divine masculine and feminine energy. We have it in both of us. We have both in all of us. And this is impacting your platonic dynamics, romantic, familial, professional, all of them. These universal energies, once you get these filters on, you just start to see things a bit differently. And inside of my work, it makes things so much easier. And it also makes it easier for you to follow along with these messages. So moving right along, again, the reminder, if you've got questions, if you hear something that pertains to your life situation, drop a message down in the comments, shoot me a DM, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you got to get the question out. I've got the answers. I'm making these videos every week, content all the time. I want to make sure that we all win. That's what I'm all about. So without further ado, without holding anything back, let's jump right in. Who is this going to be for? Well, ladies, this is for you. If you're a woman looking to embrace femininity, seeking relationships with masculine men. Now, that's a broad stroke, but it's pretty clear. You want your femininity, you want a masculine man, you're in the right place. You're tired of feeling like everyone else can get a man, but yours is just out of reach over and over again. And the biggest trope, again, you can get a man, but you can't keep a man. Why is that? That's what we're going to crack inside of this. It feels like they're avoiding you. Well, let's get the logic on the other side of the coin so that we can better understand and better put you in position so that they are drawn in, so that they are attracted, so that they cannot resist but to get close to you and all that beautiful feminine goodness that you have for them. So again, you're in the right place. Stick around to the end, and I'm going to lay this out clear. I normally give you steps to follow, but with this, I really just want to give you the psyche of a man. I'm a man. I understand them, and I feel like that's the big bro way. I can just give you clarity to the other side and let you know, sis, like, yo, for what you want, for what you need, this is how the game's going to work. So stick around. We'll get all into that. So let's first uncrack. Why does this happen? Where does it come from? Where is it showing up, and what can you be responsible for? I always, because I'm a coach, because I'm a mentor, because I work with clients directly, I can only help who I'm with. So I don't have the ability to point the finger out there. Now, I am going to get to some things you can understand, like I said, about men, so that it doesn't seem like such a personal hit whenever things don't work out, whenever things seem like these men are avoiding you, a good woman. I'm going to give you clarity inside of that. But with that, we got to first start with yourself. So one thing you may not be aware of why this is happening, you're navigating on feelings and emotion. Now, that's not a bad thing. Please do not hear that at all. But I want you to understand, you operate in your divine femininity. And inside of that, it primarily is driven off of emotion, off of feelings, off of connection, off of nurturing. It's just a different drive. Equal, but not the same. It's different from him. He's operating in logic and intentionality. So, what does that mean? You might get access. You might be able to reach out and actually touch someone, especially in today's day and age. With the dating apps, social media, I mean, there's no limit. You can be contacted by anybody anywhere in the world that they can see you, which again gives you access. However, this is why I want to get some grounding behind it for yourself, ladies, because you got to protect yourself. You got to protect your flower. Your feelings and emotion of going with that experience, getting flued out, experiencing the company of a man that you're attracted with. And while he's doing the same, all the feelings are there of how good it feels. However, for you, that's enough to drive it. This feels good. This feels natural. This feels like home. Damn, this feels like a good man. He's not thinking that way. He's actually thinking. He's thinking the logic. So I say that just to say and remind you, just because you've got access, just because this caliber man has taken you out of town, taken you, flew you across the country, across the world even, just because you're getting access to his house, just because he's taking you on meals, just because you two are intimate. You may get access. He may lay with you, but that does not mean he will stay with you. And so I want to remind you, ladies, because this is what you can be responsible for yourself. Just because you are going along on the ride, don't get swept away. Enjoy yourself. Have your fun. Do exactly as you would like to do. And be mindful of that. Access does not confirm that you're now in that dating market. What does that mean? Honestly, recreational use only. You'll be classified by that man. So I tell you that because that's the protection that you've got to keep in mind. And I'll be honest, ladies, I know I'm not telling you anything new. I'm just hipping you to the game because sometimes the more you know, the more you grow. Sometimes if you can be aware, damn, this feels good. Damn, he feels like the one. Damn, this feels like it could go somewhere. I want to enjoy this experience. I want to be with it. I want to go with it. It's all perfectly fine. Just want you to understand what's on the other side of that. That if you decide to take that route, if it happens over and over again, don't get me wrong, there's the process of dating, there's the process of making connections, and then there's just living your life and having fun. But if you're intentional, if you're dating with a purpose, if you're looking for the one, some of the reasons why it may seem like men are avoiding you is because your qualifications of the men, their intentionality, what they're thinking, what they're looking for is not in place. And with that, you're going to end up getting the short end of the stick. So I want you to be hip to the game. So with that, if you get that bigger picture, you can kind of take a step back and see, all that glitters is not gold. Just because she got flued out, just because she got some bills paid, just because she got access, a dinner, an experience, a trip, a bag, some clothes, some money, all that glitters is not gold. All those you're talking about, the strippers, sex workers, OnlyFans, IG models, all the double heart taps and likes, that's not reality. And I say that is important, one, just to unplug from the matrix of thinking everything you see online equates to real life. but also because those very same actions mean completely opposite things on the other side for that man. It's an exchange. He's logical and pragmatic. The things that he exchanges for a trip, for a ticket, for a dinner, it's an exchange. What are they giving up? Because I assert, if you're watching this video, if you're into this kind of conversation, having a man stick around, having him do more than lay and play with you, but actually stay with you, well, then your intention needs to be a bit deeper than the experience of getting flued out, the experience of getting something paired for, the experience of the short-term transaction. Instead of that delayed gratification, you may have a magical experience with this man. However, if you want to live a magical life happily ever after, you're going to have to get in a different gear. You're going to have to operate a little bit differently. So inside of that, I'll move along. Next thing you got to do is you got to be responsible for yourself. See, like I said about that access, he's giving you access, but don't make that mean more than it means. Is he bringing you by his crib, or did he give you a key to his crib? Is he taking you out for dinner? Or are y'all grocery shopping to stock the house up together? See, there's a different mindset to the same things. One, access. You've gotten close to him, proximity, but are you actually experiencing what you want life with him? Partnership with him, building something with him. If that's not the case, you've got to be responsible for yourself. We are all adults, and if you consent and go along with everything going on, it's your job to have your boundaries in place. If you're abstinent, celibate, if you've got rules, whatever the case is, that needs to be in place by you. You've also got to keep your best interests in mind. Just because a good experience, just because a good opportunity, just because some fun, just because of something you're interested in does not mean that it won't have costs, consequences, repercussions. So you want to keep that in mind and be as shrewd of a negotiator as you can. Now, again, that does not mean it needs to be a blanket. Oh, I only do it after 90 days. I only do this after so many dates. I only blah, blah, blah. We're in the world of divine feminine. So I'm aware that that doesn't work, and that's not the experience that you want to have. Dating, life, being single even. It is an experience. There is joy to it. There is, things to cherish, memories to make, things to feel, right? And so if you're so locked down, it won't be a benefit. However, you do need to be a shrewd negotiator. You need to understand the transactions and the exchange. And here's the thing. If you're hip to game, which most ladies you are, you know what it is. This is not anything new, like I said. The thing is, you can get swept away by the feeling and the emotion of it. And inside of that, you may think you've got a lotto ticket, but maybe it's just a $5 scratch off. Do you feel me? So getting that experience, getting associated. You may have won, but did you win tonight or did you win for the rest of your life? That's important. So you got to make sure that your negotiations are shrewd. Stand on your masculine, your divine masculine energy inside you until his masculine lets you rest. I really want to let that sink in. Your masculine is your protection, your walls, your structure, everything I'm talking to. When masculine is present, your masculine can relax. It's taken care of. He's got it. It's already, handled. Just go with the flow. It's so much easier. But until that masculine stands up in the space, because you know why? Masculine energy is going to provide, protect, and cherish. So that's what I'm really explaining, is that your boundaries, these are your responsibilities until the man, your man, a grounded masculine man shows up and wants to cover, wants to protect, provide, and cherish, lets you know, hey, I got this. I got you, dude. Don't worry about it. Taken care of. Now, again, that could be just the experience for that weekend. That could be the plane ticket, the shopping spree, and whatever else you get to enjoy. However, is that today, or is that going to roll into tomorrow? So these are the things you want to keep in mind as you're navigating the dating game, because it's on you for responsibility. What does that mean? Now, I touched on earlier that you have to be a shrewd negotiator, and I understand that all the structure, all the logic, all the masculine, we're not doing this, we are doing this, that's so rigid, it's not fun. So what does that mean you have to do? You just have to communicate and consent. Understand the exchange taking place, and don't be afraid to get it out in the open. Ladies, there's no reason, and I would honestly say a mature, grounded, masculine man, we're in 2025, most people aren't evaluating relationship potential based on intimacy, access to intimacy. However, it is a huge part of relationships, and if you are potentially considering a relationship, it's something to be entertained. Now, whether or not you want to be abstinent, whether or not you're waiting until marriage, whatever that is, that's your case. And all there is to manage, it's not just a cut, dry, oh, if we do it, he's going to view me this way. He's not going to respect me, this, that, and the other. If you got rules in place, like a little high school girl that can't manage her maturity, that can't make her own decisions, that can't decide how she wants to lead life, if you're strictly living by the rules and you cannot flow, go with, and get into the experience of what's going on with your boundaries in mind, with the potential in mind, what does that mean? Maybe it's a conversation for, are we dating exclusive? Maybe it's a conversation for just upfront. Well, how do you feel about casual sex? Maybe it's a conversation. How do you feel about situationships? Addressing everything. Are you even interested in a relationship? Just having these things clear up front. And watch my other videos, because the communication is not about telling him the terms or what you're expecting or needing. It's not that kind of negotiation. Feminine communication is indirect. So your ability to whisper, to gently nudge, to probe and find out what his world is all about, to actually ask with curiosity, giving the opportunity, the invitation for reciprocity, for him to ask you, for you to volunteer that information. This is how you get it in communication, so that you know you're clear. You know that you're consenting to what you're going along with. And at that point, even for yourself, while you're swept off your feet, taken away with a great experience, at least you're aware of, well, if we're going to give up this, I know I got this coming back. Maybe that plane ticket, maybe that shopping spree, maybe the rent paid. That's cool enough, and you're just having fun. So what do you care? Cool, that works. Just don't go in there thinking that you've got your golden meal ticket. Don't go in there thinking that this weekend, this night, this plane ticket, this ride, this whatever experience means that access is the day in, day out. It's going to be like this next week. He's going to be banging down my door. We're going to be in a relationship tomorrow. Let all that go. None of that means any of that until you get it in communication with that man, until you both have set standards, expectations, boundaries, and again, your boundaries are your responsibility. So with that, you got to be mindful. Don't just give it up. Don't just buy in. Don't just exchange for less than the value you're looking for. If you're looking for a relationship, if you're looking for a commitment, if you're looking to get some bills paid, if you're looking for dinner, whatever it is, be clear of what you're consenting to. Be clear in communication, what's going to be expected. Be clear at what you're getting into. Both parties are at fault. Whenever I hear about this, got flued out, he's mad because he didn't get the cheeks. She's mad because she had to pay half the bills when she got out there. All these things are situations and expectations. We gotta be adults out here. We gotta be mature. We gotta be able to use our words. We gotta be able to communicate. And we gotta be responsible for ourselves. If you ain't got a way back, if you ain't got a way to take care of yourself, if you ain't got no safety and security and going out there, you don't need to be going. If you're not interested in what he's got, if he's not giving what you want, you don't need to go. So just keep that in mind. And here's the last thing I was talking about, especially with that exchange. Why men avoid women? You're not giving him enough of what he wants. Now, you may hear a few things right off the bat from hearing that information, but it goes a bit deeper than that, and I don't want it to just be surface level. So what that could look like, honestly, simply put, honoring his masculine. Now let that sink in. Leaving him seen, heard, and understood. Why is that? Because his masculine, in the masculine world, working hard, doing, grinding, all that pressure, right? He wants to rest. He wants to relax. Men will honor each other, right? Dap up, but for the most part, even in healthy masculine spaces, we're driven by the competition. We're driven to talk shit. We're driven to, ante up. Let's go. You bring it hard, I'm gonna come harder. Like that kind of dynamic. And so with feminine, there's just the being seen, being acknowledged, being understood for his dreams, his values, his goals, whatever you see him doing day in, day out. These are subtle things that he may not even be able to articulate, because over in the men's space, masculine space, communication isn't as heavy. So the opportunity even to talk about his vulnerabilities, to talk about the things that he wants and needs, he's not even fully in touch with that. Maybe he's emotionally intelligent enough. Maybe he's got the safe spaces and fellowship to get that clear for himself, to become self-aware, but it's not necessarily guaranteed. So understanding that this is something you can give him that he wants, and it's not just sex, it's not just pussy, it's not those conversations, but how can you honor his masculine? See, that shines your femininity which is going to allow him to yoke into his masculine, to be the bigger, badder, want to protect, want to provide, want to cherish you because you see him, you hear him, you understand him. So you have to, close mouth, listen more. You have to actually pay attention. You have to get into him, into his world, leaving him admired, acknowledged, affirmed. Those are good things. This is grandma energy. This is mama's energy. This is the soft touch, the gentle whisper in his ear. Heavy is the head that turns the crown. Heavy is the head that carries the crown. The power, though, is the gentle whisper in the ear, the nudge that turns the neck in the direction that the kingdom's going to go. So if you can bring that to the table, that is something he will not want to avoid. That is something that will keep him drawn to you, wanting more of you. What else does he want and need as a man, and what will have him avoid you? He wants, shout out to my guy, Joel, my man. I think he was on last week. Shout out over there on YouTube. See your comments there. Hard to find a fine lady today. It's not like they have Good Woman's Store out there. Start at the church if you can't find one there. It's not looking good. Damn, it's good points. He's talking about this modern day stuff. Shout out to my guy, Joel. Appreciate that. Let's continue on. So these last things, what can you bring to a man that he wants that will keep him from avoiding you? Peace, ease, softness, comfort. Now, these are things that can go a bit deeper because if you haven't fully embraced your feminine, if you haven't learned to calm down that masculine, it can be a bit challenging to bring a man peace, ease, softness, and comfort. On top of that, let alone, it can be easy enough if you're not fully flowing in the femininity to lose that polarity and just become his homegirl, just become his friend. And inside of those spaces, no different than in the fellowship with his other men, if it's not bringing peace, ease, how can you help him? How can you add value? He's working hard. What's his campaign? You've seen him, you understood him, you left him hurt. Maybe you're giving him ideas. Maybe you're his muse. Maybe you're helping his talents, his creativity. Maybe you're bringing him supplies. Maybe you're bringing him food. If you can find ways, food while he's grinding, putting in the work, but if you can find ways to add value to his life, ease, softness, comfort, give him a little rub on the shoulders, talk to him softly, talk to him sweet, talk to him nice. These are the things that he doesn't get in his world. So these are the things that he wants. And if he's not getting enough of them, he may avoid you. He may not be readily available because he wants to put down his armor. He wants to kick his feet up at the end of the day. And if you can kind of hear the dance that starts up inside of that, you give him what he wants and needs. It's going to give you what you want to need. He's going to allow you to kick your feet up. He's going to fly you out when he's got the downtime. He's going to take you out when he's got the freedom to come and experience you and be with you. And he'll be dying to do that as long as you bring him the things that he wants and needs. Intimacy, yes. Affirmation, connection, sensuality, peace, ease, softness, and comfort. With that, last up is sensual experience. Great lyrics. A house becomes a home when there's a woman there. It's not a home until a woman is there. So what that is the senses, the sensational experiences. Again, masculine doesn't care. Do we have four walls? Cool. Do we have a roof? Do we have clothes? Do we have food on our back? Do we have the finances and provisions? Good. We can go. We're operational. Yes, sir. Effective. When you bring the feminine into space, what you do so naturally, the feng shui, the paying attention to the things, because masculine answers the question, who am I? And that's all the data I just gave you, right? That's all he needs. Yes, sir. Good to go. Feminine answers the question, what is life? What is the touch, the smells, the taste, the texture, the tolerance even, to hear everything? That is a sensational experience. Of course, the sensuality, the sex, the intimacy. But as much as you can tailor and craft your feminine expression to deliver something that there's to touch, the fabric of the clothes that you're wearing, something to smell, the perfumes. Maybe he's coming in and smelling food, the taste, right? And he could be tasting you as well. But the adding the flavor into life, that is what your femininity brings that he's not used to. So, smack dab in the middle. Let me check here. My man Joel, ladies, drop the comments down below. Joel on YouTube says, women appreciate flowers, candy, chores done without asking. That's a wise man right there. Especially if y'all got some kids. Oh yeah, you get some things popping if you take some things off of her plate. See, this is a man, ladies. He's speaking up and saying he recognizes the things that you want. Bring what he wants, but bring that right back. This is how we operate. It's just that simple, logical, pragmatic, straightforward. You say you're pretty. What a guy wants most? Probably a puppy, a big dog. Interesting. All right, so coming in on this live, we're talking about why men avoid, and I want to give you the facts. I want to give you the information that makes a difference. So now with this last part, I'm going to give you what you need to understand. If it seems that good men are avoiding you, here's what's on the other side. That's the stuff that you could do. I gave you that already. Now I want you to understand that psychology so that you don't beat yourself up, so you don't make it that you're the problem, so you don't feel like there's something wrong, bad, incomplete with you. It ain't even about you. I want to tell you the way that men work so that you understand why good men avoid good women, so you can keep your head up, sis. Because it's not all about you. I know it's easy when you're the common denominator to beat up on yourself or feel kind of bad about it. No need, no worry. All you need to do is understand what's going on over there. And if you've watched all my other videos, you're already journaling, broadcasting, putting out the energy of your ideals so that you can attract and bring that in. But I want to give you some clarity, completion, and release to let go of all the men who seem to be avoiding good women such as yourself. So first thing you got to understand, he's not experienced with women. Why do men avoid women? Because of insecurities and inexperience. Men who are not competent, not capable, not ready, and I'm not even talking about good men. I'm not talking about men who are going to lead or do all the right things, just men in general. We've got to build up men on this other side brick by brick. We don't get the attention, we don't get the credit, we don't get anything without gaining experience, without gaining knowledge, without gaining value. So inside of that, one reason you could be experiencing a man who seems to be avoiding you is he's just not that experienced with women. So that's the first thing. Let's go a bit deeper. There's a book title to this one, right? He's just not that into you. So this one may be a little bit harder, getting into that rejection space. That's never fun. However, it's par for the course. There could be many reasons for that. Maybe it's your appearance. Maybe it's the attraction. Maybe you're not his type. Maybe it's the look. Maybe it's the chemistry, right? Maybe the sexual desire is not there. The polarity is not there. But understand, like, it's okay. I want you to understand that you can take the pressure off of there being something wrong with you, because all of this included, everything I'm going to tell you about what's over on the men's side, there's still what's ideal for you. That's the purpose of focusing on you. That's the purpose of the journaling, broadcasting the energy, being clear on your ideals and standards so that you are ready for what you want. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So let's continue on. Maybe it's your beliefs and values. Maybe you've had some conversation and there's something that he's into, and not even necessarily like yours are wrong. Maybe he's at the trap house every week and you steady at the pulpit. Maybe you're going to church. Maybe you're going to Bible study. See, if those things don't align, it just is what it is. I kind of touched on this earlier before, personality, right? Maybe he's avoiding you because he's just not into you because the personality clashes. Maybe you're too much of a tomboy. Maybe he's not into sports enough. Maybe he's, into some other things, anime and things that you just have no interest in, no desire. Your backgrounds are just different. So I'm giving you the world of, there's nothing wrong with you. Y'all are just not a good match. Everybody who's attracted to you, everybody who you come across, everybody who catches your eye does not need to be your future, does not need to be a part of your life, does not need access to you. So keep that in mind. Stand on your square and let's keep it moving. What else are some of the reasons that men avoid good women? He's not available, he's not ready, or he's not looking for a relationship. This can show up in a multitude of ways. And the first, I'm sure you might already be aware, he's already in a relationship. Now, with full disclosure, that's not necessarily non-monogamy, ethical non-monogamy, transparency, polyamory, just being in communication, being transparent and honest. That's not what I'm talking about. But he's unavailable because he's already tied up. He's already got a woman elsewhere. And ladies, please don't be the one. Please don't be the one caught up chasing the man that has other women and is not available for a relationship, the type of relationship that you want. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care what your ego, identity, validation tells you. You're not the one to crack that code. You're not the one to fix that, solve that, or open him up. Don't be waiting in the winds if he's not clear that he wants you. Don't let the attraction that because somebody else sees him valuable, that he's more valuable, that he's more desirable. Don't let that be the thing. Let him be the one for you. Let him want to make you his partner. And that's the reason. And you won't even be concerned with this conversation about why men are avoiding good women. Another thing, he may not be available, ready, or looking for a relationship if he's immature, if he's selfish. And this is not a bad thing either. If it's his time to be selfish, what happens when you get into a relationship? You got to be responsible for somebody else. You got to take others into consideration. You know this just as much. Maybe he's not ready for that. You don't need to make it wrong, and it'll do you best just to accept it so that it helps you let go. Maybe he is immature, hasn't experienced enough. Again, going back to the top. And with that, you don't want somebody like that jumping into a relationship with you because you're going to have to experience on that. So by all means, do not let him being unavailable be the reason that you feel down. Actually look, have a conversation. Remember I said communication and consent? Actually look to see, is he mature enough to handle a relationship, to lead in a relationship? Can he handle you? Can he take care of you? Ask yourself that because it deserves to be answered. Or, like I said, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe he's just on his mission. This ain't the season for that. I'm going to be grinding, locked in for the next 3 to 5 years. I don't want to do that to you. I don't have the time to dedicate the bandwidth, the energy to actually give you a fair shot of what you deserve. And a masculine, MGM status, mature, grounded, masculine man is going to be straightforward about that. We can have fun. We can do what this is right here. And that's all it's going to be. I'm not going to be able to give you more, and I want to be clear about that. Consensual, you're going to be here. You understand what it is. You understand the terms. You understand what we're doing here. No questions asked. And last but not least, if he's not available, not ready, not looking for a relationship, that's because he enjoys the single life. And I'm sure, ladies, you know all about that. If that's what he enjoys, if the single serve option is what he's continuously selecting, you're not going to be the one to talk him out of that. You cannot and do not need to compete. So if he's ready for a lifestyle of singledom, if he's ready for the revolving door, if he's in a space where he needs to get his experience up, maybe he needs to become qualified, so is Otis, whatever you want to call it, to get to a place where he can lead and be the man that you want him to be. Don't wait around for it. If he's not clear and already in that place, if he's enjoying his single life, let him. And if you're not enjoying your single life next to him, clear of what it is, clear of what's being created, clear of what you're on board for, don't play with it. Don't even bother. Moving on to the next. Why might men avoid good women? Maybe, just maybe, and I don't want to have this at the top of the list, maybe he is intimidated. Maybe he's not up to meeting your expectations. Now, that's not a way to point a finger of blame, and it is a reminder to take in consideration. I myself, Masculinity Architect, have been in relationships, dynamics with women, and had to be with. They can tell me even how amazing I am. And at the same time, if your preferences, your expectations, your desires, how you like life to go, if you've been so independent, so strong, so on your path, and created such a life for yourself, well, is he going to need to fit into that? Is he going to need to get on your program? Is he going to need to get on board with your train? Who's the leader here? Who's following who? And really, genuinely, just ask yourself that, because if you want a masculine, MGM status, mature, grounded, masculine man to show up and lead you in life, in your relationship, in your partnership, do you have so many expectations, comparisons of your past, of your father? Now, don't get me wrong, have your standards. However, are you viewing this man and potentially seeing and loving him for who he is that you are choosing to follow? Or are you looking into his potential? Are you looking into whether you can shape and mold him? And I'll tell you, ladies, why that is a sabotage is because right off the bat, you don't want that man you can control. You don't want that man that you can lay out the instructions and he's following them to the T. Well, they say he showed up with flowers, he showed up with all this sweet stuff, came and opened my car door, and I'm like, ugh. You know what it is, ladies, because it's not truly what it is that you want. Matter of fact, it may be what you want, but it's sure ain't what you need. Otherwise, you go with it. So if that's the case, be mindful right? Not only what you're putting pressure on a good man, but if he is intimidated, if he is aware enough to acknowledge that, it's not about you. Because the man that is for you is ready to step up. The man that is for you is ready to stretch. The man that is for you will take himself on. MGM status, mature, grounded, masculine man. I want that. I'm going for it. I'm not good enough, says who? Hold my beer. Bet. Let's go. Like that calls out masculine. Tell me I can't have what I want. Why for? Nah, you got it twisted. Not me. Before the buzzer, I'm going to leave it all out on the field. This is said strictly from a masculine man. That's how I operate, and I believe, I assert that's exactly what you can expect from the mature, grounded, masculine man that is meant for you. So, if a man shows up otherwise and doesn't feel worthy, even a good man doesn't want to hurt you, doesn't want to waste your time. Maybe, like I said, he's enjoying his single life. He's being selfish in the season that it's appropriate. He's on his mission and cannot dedicate that to you. Honor it, accept it. It just is what it is, and he's not the one for you. Have the freedom and flow to let it go. And if it comes back, if it comes around, it's meant to be. Otherwise, don't try and force it. Divine feminine flows with. All right, last but not least, ladies. This is going to be the definite reason a mature, grounded, masculine man would avoid you. He sees a gap in your compatibility between you two. Masculine has the job of macro. Feminine has the job of micro. That is how the dance, the yoking of the energies works together, that yin and yang. You're looking at the day in, day out. What is life together? He's looking at the macro here to the end of time. Do we work? Are we going to be able to do this? Do we make a good team? Can we handle each other? Do we support each other? Are we going to be successful for what it is that we both want to our both interests? So maybe you've crossed his boundaries. And maybe there's the ones he doesn't need to communicate. Maybe it's how you've respected other people. Maybe it's something he observed that does not align with his life goals and beliefs. And at that point, again, going back to you may have access. He may right then and there qualify you only as recreational. Now, if that's the case, enjoy that experience, be present to it. However, this is why you want to hold your value. This is why you want to be mindful of getting in communication and consent. Are we going in the same places, spaces? If he's not readily available, if he's taking his time, if it's a slow burn and you haven't had all these conversations about, well, what is it you want? What is it that you like? What do you see this going into? If he's not giving you any kind of a lead or indication of his interests, you may have crossed boundaries. You may have disqualified yourself. You may have brought some disrespect to the situation without knowing it. Now, a man who's interested is going to let you know. He's going to let you know his boundaries. Because at that point, after you cross them, okay, now he's going to have pulled away. But if he doesn't see opportunity in you, if he doesn't see value in you, and he comes across a gap in compatibility, oh no, we won't work. I had a woman I met up to some years ago, a long time ago, but sent out a flare, see who's available on the roster and everything, going out to a party and inviting some plus ones. And one came through. It was a great time. I'm an only child. This is a background story. I'm an only child, so many of my brothers are of different shades and colors. So with that, she's at the party. We're having fun, entertaining each other. Night went great. She disqualified herself without knowing it. While at the party, she was talking about how uncomfortable and weird it was. Out in the burbs, bunch of white boys, and music choices different, jokes, conversation. It's just a different vibe. However, when she said that, she doesn't realize these are my brothers. These are my people. Now, I get along with everybody. I got people on every side of town. But at this party, my diversity, you just showed that you can't navigate the same spaces and rooms that I navigate. First and last, we did not connect again after that. So those are the things that you need to be mindful of. Is there's a gap in compatibility? You may or may not know, but you've already disqualified yourself. And now you're recreational only. Accept it, be with it. He's not the man for you. There's nothing to fight. There's just acceptance. And last but not least, the balancing and yoking of divine masculine, divine feminine energy. Some of the things that I already talked to earlier. Him not getting the things that he wants. Him seeing that there's a gap in what y'all can create together. But when that happens, you may no longer be interested. This is where you paying attention to this information, you getting the knowledge of what you can do, and you flowing into your femininity, because that's going to set up for the polarity. That's going to set up the attraction that masculine, mature, grounded masculine men cannot resist, that they're seeking, that they are yearning for. And when you make that available, they'll make themselves available. They will not be avoiding you in any way, shape, or form. But that's been it, ladies. I wanted to drop it a little bit different. Shout out to my guy Joel. Got the comments coming in on YouTube. Old school. You know, with that, I got to get over to the guys. Come on, I'm scared. Interesting. Shout out Joel. Appreciate you tuning in on YouTube. I'm about to drop over on the guys' channel. But anyway, I appreciate you ladies for tuning in. Hope this has been of value. Drop your comments, questions down below. Go pick up that free copy, Deep Dive into the Divine. Learn all about these divine energies. And until next time, I'll be right here, being the best version of myself one could say beyond the power. The question is, ladies, who are you going to be? Peace. Holla at your TikTok. YouTube. Until next time.